So starting with the nomenclature parts, I told you that sometimes the structures cannot be straight chains. They might have some carbon atoms on the top of the chain or at the bottom of the chain. Like in this example, there is a straight carbon chain with alkane chain. I mean, the carbons are singly bonded. We have circled that straight chain part and called it a parent chain. However, there is one carbon atom that is present at the bottom of this chain, also singly bonded and linked to the same chain. So this bottom part is specially known as a branch. Okay? In organic chemistry, we have circled it out and we have called it a branch. Are we all clear? So if you are clear with the previous part, we are going to move forward and we are going to start with nomenclature or with the naming of these portions. Let's get started. All right, these parts are already named, circled. Now, when you are going to get started, I told you that you are supposed to number the structure. You're supposed to number the structure in such a way that you can either start numbering from the left-hand side, or you may start numbering from the right-hand side. In either case, that is going to be the numbering in which you may go from starting from this side. This can be number 1, this carbon can be number 2, and this carbon can be number 3. If you start from the right hand side, this carbon is going to be number 1, this carbon is going to be number 2, and this carbon is going to be number 3, right? We only number the parent chain. I think that is very clear from the numbering that I'm doing. So in either case, you would see the carbon atom of the parent chain that is numbered over here is number 2 on which the branch is present. So the numbering from either side would be good or would be okay if we get the lowest possible number for the branch, for the carbon atom that has the branch, that is the central carbon atom. Take a look, the central carbon atom actually is directly connected to the branch. So if that carbon atom is numbered as 2, if we start numbering from left hand side, and that that carbon is actually number 2 if we start the numbering from the right hand side, this means in both cases the numbering is same. So we may start numbering from the left hand side or the right hand side. In that case, it won't make a difference. See? Are we clear so far? How are we supposed to do the numbering, and what if the numbering is same from both sides? Are we clear with this point?
Yes, sir.
Girls and boys both? Girls?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, good. Then how are we going to name it? I'm going to write these rules later, but first I'm going to go with an example. How are we going to write the name? Then I'm going to write those rules on the Word document or the Word file we were previously considering. Now, you are going to write the name in such a way. Let me write it over here. This is going to be, first of all, you are going to write number of the carbon atom on which the branch is present. That is 2. Then the numbering and the alphabets are separated according to an IUPAC convention. IUPAC is actually the largest institution of chemistry in the world. That is the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. International I, Union U, Pure P, Applied A, Chemistry C, IUPAC, IUPAC. Okay? So that's the largest institution, and that institution gives us the rules or the conventions for naming of compounds and nomenclature. According to their rules, the numbers and alphabets are separated by hyphens or dashes, like I have put over here in the naming. So 2 hyphen or dash, hyphen and dash means the same thing, okay? 2 hyphen and dash. And then we are going to start with the name of the branch first and the parent chain later. So the branch has 1 carbon atom, okay? For 1 carbon atom, the name is meth. ठीक है? And for the branches, the alkyl based branches or cane based branches, the suffix is "-ile". I forgot to add that suffix in the word file. I'm going to do it now. Okay. First, let's write the example name over here. Then I'm going to write all the rules and the names in the file in front of you. Okay. Methyl. So that is YL. That is a suffix. And then how many carbon atoms are there in the parent chain? Zoha, you there? This is a question for you.
3.
3. Very good. So what was the prefix that we used for number 3? You may look it up in the word file that I've sent you over WhatsApp. If you don't have this word file yet, you can say it straightforwardly. That's fine. Do you have the
Sir,
word
I'm
file?
not having.
Okay,
No,
okay,
sir.
that's fine. Does anyone remember from my previous class what was the name for 3 carbon atoms? What was the prefix actually for 3 carbon atoms?
So prop.
Prop, right? P-R-O-P, prop. And what was the suffix for alkanes?
In.
Ane. So that's how you come up with a name. Every part of the structure is properly given its prefix or suffix or a position in the name in such a way that from the structure you can write the name, and from the name you can draw the structure. Okay? So how to draw a structure from the name, we'll do that part later. For now, what we are doing is to draw the structure, to have the structure, and by seeing the structure, coming up with a name. Okay? That's how we come with a name. That is 2 hyphen or dash methyl propane without any spaces. Meth goes for 1 carbon atom in the branch. Ile stands for the carbon atom being singly bonded to the branch, being singly bonded to the parent chain. Prop stands for 3 carbon atoms in the parent chain, and ane stands for how they are bonded. They are singly bonded, so that's an alkane. So propane. So 2-methyl propane. That's how we are going to write it and pronounce it. I hope that is clear to everyone. But even if this is not clear, let me tell you, this is not the only example we are going to go with. We're going to go with many examples, 6 examples, 7 examples, 10 examples, until this is clear for everybody else in the class. So what I want you to do right now is to tell how clear you are on a scale of 0% to 100%, one by one. Okay, so let's start asking students to get a clear idea. Kabir, how clear are you about writing the name on a scale of 0% to 100%? You may write the answer in the chat. In fact, let's all of you write the answers in chat. Open up the chat and write the percentage of how clear you are about writing the name. It can be 10%, it can be 90%, it can be 99%, it can be 1%. That's fine by me. Come on, start writing that in chat. Let's see answers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 participants over here. So I want 8 answers in the chat. I only have 3 so far. Okay, a few of my students are extremely confident writing 99%, but 99% is good enough for this structure. As soon as we're going to get some complicated structures, bigger structures, the rules are going to change. But for those who understand 99% for this kind of naming, for this structure is very good, because if you're very clear about this one, you're also going to be clear about the next ones. Right? So we have 1, 2, 3, Noman का आंसर भी आ गया. Good. I was about to ask for me Noman कि मुझे बस Noman का आंसर नहीं आया. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have all 8 answers. Okay, good, good. Continuing. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to now write the rules once again, just to make sure that we are all on the same page. Okay? Just give me a minute. Let me open up that file. I'm going to stop the sharing from here, and I'm going to go back to the Word file, write the rules, so to make sure that even if somebody is less clear about this, from writing the rules, they are more clear about this. All right. So stopping the sharing and starting the sharing with the Word file. Okay, remember the prefixes for alkanes were this. This is for alkanes for parent chain. Also, the same prefixes are used for alkane-based singly bonded branches known as alkyl groups. Okay. These are the same prefixes that we are going to use. The branches are known as alkyl groups. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to quote the suffix for alkyl groups over here as YL. Yeah. Now, this is going to give you a better idea. Previously, you weren't familiar with alkyl groups, so now you are familiar. And I'm going to change it over here. These prefixes will be used for number of branches in present on our parent chain, because there may be 2 branches on our parent chain, 3, 4, 5. That's how the structure gets complicated. Okay. So let's come back to the rules. The rule number 1 was to locate the straight longest direct carbon chain, and this would be the parent chain. We did that previously. That was already a part of the diagram. You know what the parent chain was. As per the number of carbon atoms in the structure, take the prefix and combine it with the suffix so that the structure, depending upon the type of bonding, shows and you get the name. Okay. For branch chain structures, the carbon atoms parent chains are numbered. In the numbering may start from either side, but the carbon atom connected to the branch or the functional group should get the lowest possible number from the numbering sequence. Now, coming to point number 4, the name is usually written in this way. Okay, the name is usually written in this way. First of all, number of the carbon atom in the parent chain the branch is directly connected to. Then comes hyphen or dash. Okay. Then comes number of carbon atoms. Let's write it like this: C atoms in the branch as prefix. Alkyl group suffix is followed after. Then comes number of carbon atoms in the parent chain as prefix. And finally, the last part of the name is alkanes suffix. Okay? So that's how you write a name. Clear? So what we did is that, in fact, let's not do it like this. Just a minute. I'm going to share my whole screen with you. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put these rules on one side and I'm going to put the structure on the other so that it's easy for you. Now, I hope that's much easier, right? Can you see the whole screen?
Yes,
Or
sir.
the rule is in front of you and the name is in front of you. Let's go with the rule and the name side by side. The first thing in the name is the number of carbon atom in the parent chain the branch is directly connected to. Take a look at this structure. The number of carbon atom in the parent chain was 2 from both sides of numbering, for which the branch was directly connected to, hence 2 is written first. Clear? Then comes a hyphen or a dash. So there is the hyphen or a dash. Then the third part of the name was number of carbon atoms in the branch are written as prefix. How many carbon atoms was there? Only one carbon atom was there in the branch. So hence the prefix meth. Then comes the alkyl group suffix, that is YL, IL, so YL of the name. Then number of carbon atoms in the parent chain as prefix. How many number of carbon atoms in the parent chain? There was 1, 2, and 3 from one numbering and 1, 2, and 3 from the other numbering. So that's 3. And for that, we have prop, P-R-O-P. And lastly, alkane suffix, that is ane. So we have ane. So that's how all the parts of the name come together to form one name, 2-methylpropane for the structure. Now, is that clear for everyone? How the rule and the naming sequence are connected to one another. If there is any confusion, you may ask now. So if you're clear, then let's keep the rule in front of us and let's go with a different structure this time. Okay? What I'm going to do is that I'm going to erase a few parts of the structure. Let's change the structure a little bit. Okay? What we are going to do is that we are going to introduce another carbon atom into this chain like this. Now, what about the name now? As soon as we introduced another carbon atom into the structure, you need to start from rule 1 again, all the way to the rule number 4. Okay? Now, can you see the mouse? Let me annotate. Let me annotate it like this. Can you see the spotlight, everyone? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The red spotlight. Now, there are different ways to go with rule number 1. What was the rule number 1? Locate the straight longest direct carbon chain, and this would be the parent chain of the molecule. One easiest way to go with the parent chain is to go with the straight line, right? First carbon atom, second, third, fourth. Clear? How many number of atoms are there in this imaginary first parent chain that we picked? Anyone?
4.
4, right? So what if we start from the right hand side? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It's the same. Clear? So just a second. Okay, good. That's good work, Ayan. Okay. So what if we try to number it or try to locate the straight longest direct carbon chain in a different way? Let's do it like this. First carbon atom, second carbon atom, third carbon atom, and this is the fourth one, right? This time we aren't going with the direct chain or the straight chain in front of our eyes. This time we're twisting it a little bit, but still this is directly connected. How is this directly connected? Take a look. This carbon and this carbon are bonded with this bond sign. This and this bonded with this bond sign. If we go from here to here, we have a bond sign, or if we go from top to bottom, we have a bond sign. So actually, we can number it in 4 different ways. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. This was left and right. Now, let's do it like this. Third way, 1, 2, 3, and bottom one, 4. And there is a fourth way. You can start all the way from the bottom carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you get the point? I have told you only for the rule number 1 how to go with the numbering of or locating the straight longest direct carbon chain in 4 different methods for such a short structure. Are we clear with all 4 methods of locating the straight longest direct carbon chain? Anybody still having any confusions? Okay, good. Moving on. I've also done step number 3 for you. So what we are going to do over here is that we are going to go with pen tools, and let's do it like this. This is our parent chain. Now let's try to go with the numbering, and let's try to go with the simplest numbering: 1 from left to right, 2, 3, sorry, and 4. Clear? But we can go with right to left numbering as well. So that would be 1, that would be 2, that would be 3, and that would be 4. But now, in this case, the numbering is not same for the carbon that is directly connected to the branch. So which numbering is correct? The numbering sequence is correct in this case, from the left to right numbering or from right to left numbering? Anyone?
Right to left.
From right to left. Do we get the smallest possible number for, or the lowest possible number for the carbon that is directly connected to the chain?
Sir,
Like
left to right.
Left to right, exactly, Shahzeb. If you go from right to left, the carbon number is 3, that is directly connected to the branch. But if you go from left to right, the carbon number that it is directly connected to the branch is 2 actually. And step number 3 says that you have to go for the lowest possible number. So the lowest possible number is 2, not 3. So actually, the problem over here is that right to left numbering sequence is not correct for this case. The previous example was one of the easy examples in which the right to left and the left to right numbering sequence were both correct for the example. But as soon as you're going to step up and go for the complicated structures, the numbering sequence may not be correct for every side. Do you get my point? Anyone who's still not clear? Good, good. If you're clear, then what we are going to do over here is that we're going to erase, just a second, we're going to erase this sequence, all of these, because this is the incorrect sequence. Now, according to the correct sequence, what are we going to name this structure as? Anyone?
2.
2. What would be the next step?
Sir, methyl
Hyphen.
butane.
Methyl butane. How are you going to spell that? Because in this case, class, let me tell you, a small spelling mistake in a nomenclature and you get cut off your total marks for the name. Whether the name is of 2 mark or the name is of 1 mark, usually it's of 1 mark in IGCSE. You don't get any points for a name if there is one small spelling mistake in the name. And let me tell you, in chemistry, very small spelling mistakes mean a very entirely different structure that I'll explain on the next homologous series, inshallah. Okay? So how are we going to spell methyl butane? Who said the whole name? The person who said the whole name is
Sir.
supposed to spell it too.
Sir, methyl.
Methyl. Continuing, sorry.
Butane.
Butane. Very good, very good. And let me introduce one more rule over here, which I'm going to write as a part of the rules of file later, is that the very first alphabet of the entire name is supposed to be capital. Another set of rules, another part of set of rules over here is that we do not use a space in the name until unless a space in the name is given as a part of a name by IUPAC convention. Okay? From the what I mean from that is, let's come to this file. Take a look at these suffixes. None of the suffixes or the prefixes have the space in the name except for carboxylic acid. Take a look. Carboxylic acid has a space in between oic and acid as a part of the name. Hence, in this kind of name, we'll have a space. In these names, the one that we just wrote, the space is not a part of IUPAC convention, so the space will not be a part of the name. Students tend to give space in between the word methyl and the word butane because they consider methyl is the part of the name that belongs to the branch, and butane is the part of the name that belongs to parent chain. So sometimes they assume there is a space in between. Let me clarify, there isn't a space between methyl and butane. This is one complete name for this structure. the parts of the name in which the part for the branch and the part for the parent chain is not separated by a space until unless that's a convention for IUPAC. And we, as the whole world follows the conventions of IUPAC, the teachers, the researchers, the scientists, the students, so you're supposed to follow that too. I hope you're all clear with these couple of rules regarding the name. Okay, good. So let me add this part to the file. Okay, just a second. Regarding the name, space is not a part of the name if it's not a convention by IUPAC, which actually stands for International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. Okay. Secondly, the first letter of the name is usually considered as capital. I have written the word usually over here because according to some trends, American or European, the first part of the name is sometimes not written in capital. So that's fine. Okay? Because some parts of the world tend to have a slightly different set of rules from the other. The American convention, the European convention have very small differences in them. And that's fine. That's fine if you write the first part of the name as capital or small, because it would just be a change of convention following the American criteria or the European criteria, or what we call British criteria. Okay, are we all clear? Now let's come with a slightly different structure this time. Okay, so let's erase the name. Just a second. I'm going to erase all the numbers. And this time I'm going to change the structure in a slight way of adding a carbon atom, but to the branch this time. Now, let's get to start with rule number 1 again. Now, who can tell me, according to rule number 1, how many carbon atoms are there in the straight, longest, direct carbon chain? Anyone?
4.
Wrong. Anyone again?
5.
5. Who's saying 5?
Sir, me.
Me is, sorry, I can't recognize the voice over here. Help me out with your name.
Sir, Rafe.
Rafe. Rafe, how you can count them to be 5? How are
Sir,
you
from
counting? Try to explain that in words for the rest of the class.
sir, from the right to left.
Actually, from not from right to left. From right to
No.
left, it's not 5, it's
No.
4.
Sir, from right and from the third one,
From,
I counted down.
you turned and you started counting
Yes,
downwards. Right,
sir.
right.
Yes.
Very good. And that's the way we are supposed to count. Okay. Ayan, you're quite a number of steps ahead of us, but this time you made a small mistake in the name. Try to change it again. Okay. Okay. So if anybody can come up with a name while I'm going with rule number 1, 2, or 3, that's fine. You can always write the name in chat. Okay. In fact, why don't you all try to write the name in chat for this structure? Try to go with a name of your own and try to write that name in chat. Let's see what you can do this time. Let's see the names. Is the chat appearing as a part of the screen for you, all of you? Or does the chat just appears to me? Okay, stop writing it privately. Change the option and write it to everyone. If that's a possibility, if that's option is available to all of you. Zyme Forum wrote it to everyone. Ayan, you wrote it privately. Can you please write it again to everyone? Acha. Vase has written a name to everyone. So did Ahyan. Okay, rest of the class, please, you need to come up with names as well. Come on, quickly. We don't have much time left. Let's, for the sake of Zyme, I'm going to give you one small hint. Zyme, your name does not contain any numbering, and that's not possible in organic chemistry. So try to change it a little bit. Try to come up with a name that also contains a number. Zyme, I'm saying this to you. Okay? Zoha, your name has a plus sign in it. There are no pluses and minuses sign in the name. Try to do it again, please. For the rest of you, for Vase, for Ayan, for Rafe, we are going to go with the naming, and who's correct, who's not, we'll do it later. Okay? Till everyone comes up with a name. Come on. I have 8 participants in the system, but I only have a few names. Shahzeb, there can't be a name without numbering beta. Zoha, yeah, this time you corrected it. Okay, Zoha, that's good. The plus sign has been removed. That's fine. So Shahzeb, try to write the name again, and this time try to add a number. Class, you never answered me. Can anyone tell me on a mic through sound that is the chat appearing to you too? The chat I've opened in the system. Is that a part of screen
No,
sharing?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
मेरी chat, जो मेरी chat है वो screen sharing पे नजर आ रही है?
No,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
आधे लोग कह रहे हैं, आधे yes कह रहे हैं. How can that be true? Either it's appearing to
नहीं,
everyone
screen
or
share
it's
नहीं आ
not
रही.
appearing to anyone.
Sir, नहीं आ रही. Sir,
नहीं आ रही. इसका
Sir,
मतलब
हमें
है
आ
मुझे yes
रही
कह
है.
रहे. बेटा आपने अपनी चैट खोल रखी होगी. मेरी चैट, मेरी स्क्रीन शेयरिंग से चैट नजर आ रही है नहीं. The question is that.
नहीं आ रही. नहीं आ रही.
फिर
Look
इसका
at the
मतलब नहीं है.
straight, longest direct. यही ना sir?
नहीं, chat, not the word page. Chat की बात हो रही है. इसका मतलब है नहीं आ रही. Okay. Shahzeb, आपकी correction अभी तक नहीं आई है. Shahzeb, please be a little quick. You're still missing the number from the names. Okay, मेरे पास बहुत थोड़ा time रह गया. We're hardly left with a couple of minutes. ठीक है, 1 minute and few seconds. So let me tell you whose name is correct. Acha Shahzeb, your first name is correct. Zaim Khurram, very good effort. Your name is correct. Zoha, unfortunately, the name is not correct because you're wrong with rule number 1. ठीक है. Abdul Kabir, your name is not correct with the name of the part where you're talking about the name of the branch. ठीक है. जब वो pent हो गया कबीर बेटा तो ethyl नहीं हो सकता. ठीक है ना. Same goes with Rafe. Rafe, आपने भी यही mistake की है. Ayan, आपका actually दोनों names ठीक नहीं है. ना parent chain name ठीक है Ayan, ना आपका जो ना कहते हैं वो branch name ठीक है. ठीक है. Fase, branch name is not correct. Parent chain name is not correct. So far, what I can say is the first name given by Shahzeb and the name given by Zaim are the only ones that are correct. ठीक है. So Zaim का name अगर सबको नजर आ रहा होगा तो chat is being shown to everyone, so you would get an idea. ठीक है. Actually, in case of parent chain numbering, there are 5 carbon atoms, and in case of the branch, there is only 1 carbon atom that is left out of structure from the parent chain, and that is numbered as 3. So 3-methyl pentane is the correct name. We have just a few seconds left, so I'm going to wind up the screen share and wind up the class, and I'm going to explain tomorrow that how we name the structure as a 3-methyl pentane. ठीक है? All right, class. Take care. Allah Hafiz.